Good afternoon to everyone at today's public hearing of the Vetting Commission of Law 60 for the year 2023 on the external evaluation of judges and candidates for judges of the Supreme Court of Justice. I'm Scott Bales, and I declare this. The hearing is being conducted under Law Number 252 of the year 2023 on the external evaluation of judges and prosecutors, amending some normative acts, and under the Commission organization and function. The subject of today is Silvia, a judge of the Central Court, previously until 27th of December 2024, the Chisinau Court of Appeal. Judge Cecan, welcome. And Judge, you have with you the auditor who you asked us to hear at today's hearing.
Yesterday, I submitted a request. Actually, it was a statement of my position about the questions that were sent for this hearing. And at the beginning of that letter, I requested, or I said that since the Vetting Commission accepted the hearing of the auditor only with respect to the observations made by the Superior Council of Magistracy, it wasn't necessary anymore to hear the auditor, because the auditor was only going to speak about the observations in the audit report. And then I said that.
And I think you incorrectly described the Commission's response to your request, because we stated that we would hear the auditor at hearing, provided that her statements were not duplicative of the written materials previously submitted, and they concerned the issues referred to the Commission by the Superior Council of Magistracy and the reevaluation process. As you know, under the law...
I am sorry, I can really hardly hear you. Could you please repeat it?
I said, Judge, that your written statement submitted last evening misstated the Commission's response to your request that we hear the auditor. We granted the request, provided that the auditor not duplicate statements in her already submitted written report, and that her comments be limited to issues that are referred to the Commission by the Superior Council of Magistracy in the reevaluation process. Now, it is, of course, up to you whether to have your auditor appear at the hearing or not. But I did want to clarify what the Commission's response had been.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Proceed.
Excuse me, the connection is very, very bad. We only hear fragments of what you're saying. Can you do something about it?
Let me see if perhaps I can join on a different line.
Yes, your internet connection is very low, the technician just said. Excuse me.
All right, is the audio any better with this connection?
I think the audio is now all right.
All right, then let's proceed. Do I need to repeat any of the prior comments?
No, I understood what you said. The only thing is that I would like to reiterate that the auditor is not present in today's hearing, because that's how I understood your letter, your answer, that he does not have a right to refer to the audit report that they drafted, and it is not necessary to hear him otherwise. At the same time, the auditor cannot support me today during this hearing because he is not my assistant. He was just an auditor, a professional who drafted an evaluation report.
Well, again, whether you provide the auditor at the hearing is up to you. We granted the request in the terms stated in the commission's written response. Now, Judge, as noted from the hearing notice, on the 1st of July of 2025, the Superior Council of Magistracy, by decision number 342/28, rejected your evaluation report and ordered the commission to resume the evaluation procedure. Thus, in accordance with Article 20 of Law Number 252, the commission invited you to attend today's hearing. You will see I'm joined by two other members of Panel B. To your left is Commission Member Willem Brouwer, and to your right, Commission Member Iurie Gațcan. Commission is also assisted by members of the Secretariat. You may also see in the room representatives of the media and the public. The photographer who is present will take photographs just at the outset of the hearing. The hearing will be conducted with interpretation between Romanian and English. To allow for accurate interpretation between the two languages, I ask everyone to speak clearly and slowly. Only one person should speak at a time. Furthermore, the proceedings are being recorded. The recordings of the public hearings generally are available online at the Commission's website, www.vettingmd.eu, within 3 days after the hearing. During the hearing, members of the Commission may ask you questions. We ask you to answer them truthfully and completely. Your explanations are important to the Commission in verifying your financial and ethical integrity. At the end of the hearing, you will be given an opportunity to make a brief closing statement. In posing questions, we will consider your privacy and, where required and possible, the privacy of your family members and close persons. So we will leave out unnecessary details related to such things as ID numbers, bank account numbers, addresses of real estate, and the like. For the protection of privacy, we ask you to do the same. I will briefly now review the evaluation process for Judge Cecan. The Commission initiated its evaluation on the 11th of April, 2024, by notifying the judge by email and asking her to complete and return an ethics questionnaire and the declarations required by Law Number 252. Judge Cecan returned the completed declarations and questionnaire on the 30th of April, 2024. Between 27 September 2024 and the 6th of December 2024, the Commission asked Judge Cecan to provide additional information to clarify certain matters during 3 rounds of questions. She responded on time and provided answers and documents. On the 25th of January 2025, we notified Judge Cecan that the Commission had identified some areas of doubt about her compliance with the ethical and financial criteria, and we invited her to attend the hearing. That hearing was held on the 5th of February 2025. On the 24th of April 2025, the Commission adopted its evaluation report, recommending that Judge Cecan not be promoted under the criteria set in Law Number 252. That is, that the evaluation not be promoted. In the period August 6th, 2025 to the 5th of September 2025, after the Superior Council of Magistracy had rejected the evaluation report, the Commission asked Judge Cecan an additional round of questions. She replied to those questions. She She subsequently submitted to the commission an audit report prepared by Auditor Georgetta Kovliov-Rusu, dated the 2nd of September, 2025. On October 3rd, 2025, we notified Judge Cecan of the commission's remaining doubts and asked her to attend today's hearing. On the 9th of October, 2025, Judge Cecan provided additional written explanations and a request that the commission hear the auditor at today's hearing. As discussed previously, the commission granted that request with the conditions that the auditor not simply repeat matters submitted in her written report, and that her comments be limited to the issues referred to the commission by the SCM for reevaluation. On the 15th of October, 2025, that is last evening, Judge Cecan submitted additional written comments on the hearing notice and her position regarding the attendance of the auditor. All of those materials have been included in the evaluation file and considered by the commission. Judge, recognizing that you've submitted several different written statements to the commission, are there any corrections or additions that you wish to make to the materials you submitted up to and including the written statement that you submitted to the commission last evening?
If I understand correctly, then no, I don't have any additional evidence, but I have comments about what you have just mentioned. Again, if I understand correctly, there are two opinions. So we have the evaluation report, the audit report that was drafted by the professional auditor, and if the commission comes with criticism and rejection of that audit report, I drafted a personal opinion, as I believe it would be correct to answer the commission's questions.
Understood. Are there any further corrections or additions you wish to make in addition to the information you've provided the commission up to this point?
No, not right now.
And recognizing that you later made other written submissions to the commission, are the ethics questionnaire and the declarations that you returned on the 30th of April, 2024 still accurate as of today?
Yes. No changes happened to the ethics questionnaire.
Okay. We will now ask you some additional follow-up questions. We will try to keep our questions short and to the point. We ask that your answers be short and to the point as well. I will start with questions. You may have additional questions from other members of the commission. I would like to refer you first to your written statement dated 15th of October and your position with respect to the commission's calculations of inexplicable wealth. And I believe you have a copy of that before you, or we can display it on the monitor that you'll be able to see there in the hearing room.
I don't have a copy of that. But please go on and ask. Maybe I will be able to remember.
I think we were able to show you that on the screen in front of you.
Întrebările pentru audierea publică?
Do you mean the questions for the public hearing? Because this is what I see on the screen now.
And I'm going to ask you,
Scrisoarea din 15.
It's the letter, you were speaking about the letter of 15th of October. Yes, that is my yesterday's letter to the Commission.
yes, and I'd like you to first look at your comments regarding the calculations for 2016. And I noticed for 2016, the comment that you have with regard to the Commission's calculations, if you refer to cash and bank savings at the end of 2015, your position is that you had cash savings at the end of 2015 of some 31,961 lei. Do you see that?
O secundă, eu am...
Just a second, please.
Nu. La final...
At the end, that would mean a positive balance of 31,000, you said?
No, my statement was in
Economii din anul...
Savings from 2015
your comments.
in total amount of 33,599 lei, consisting of 31,961 lei from savings from 2015 and 1,600 as banking savings.
Correct, but your position, the difference between your calculation and the Commission's calculation is based on your claim that you had cash savings at the end of 2015.
Da.
Yes. Yes.
And if you then next look at 2017, the following
Da,
year,
m-am uitat și la anul 2016.
I looked at 2017 as well.
yes.
For 2017, please go on. I will answer after you finish.
Your position with regard to 2017 as reflected on that table is that the Commission should not include as expenses cash savings in the amount of 16,092 lei, correct?
Da.
Yes. Yes, that's correct.
And that's your
Nu
position
16,
generally.
16.
Yeah, 16,093 lei cash savings.
Eu am explicat și data
And-
trecută.
I explained last time as well.
You did.
Da, că eu renunț la aceste...
What can I say that I give?
And that reflects that you think cash savings at the end of the year should not be treated as an expense.
Deci, ca să fie clar, pentru 2017,
To make it clear, for 2017 and for 2018, the Commission provided several options of getting to those calculations, and one of them is favorable for me, and I don't challenge the results of the evaluation for 2017 and 2018. But at the same time, I believed it was necessary to make some clarifications that I believed were necessary, because these calculations I used later on for the years 2020 and 2021. So we need a logical sequence of things.
All right, let's turn then to the calculation for 2018.
Da.
At the end of the table for that year, you, with respect to cash and bank savings, you say that the amount, instead of being 24,634 Moldovan lei, it should instead be 2,916 lei, which would reflect your bank savings. That is, you're saying we should not include cash savings as part of the expenses for that year, correct?
Pentru 2016.
So for 2018, I've indicated that in the right version for savings and cash in terms of inflows, that's the amount should be 6,443 lei. And I put down several comments regarding a number of changes. So cash savings, the correct amount is 2,916 lei, and that is bank savings. And cash savings should not be included into the amount. However, for the incoming flows, for the inflows, I've again asked for, I've asked to include in income the amount of 48,000 provided by my brothers as financial support to provide for our mother, to take care of our mother. And this amount, together with the expenses, if you think of the expenses that I've also had of 24,000 lei, so these should be included in the retail expenses because so in 2018, as a matter of principle, I am, yes, making an analysis. I have provided an analysis there, so I don't challenge this here. I mean, I agree with the conclusions drawn by the Commission because one of the variables plus 70,000, that part is in my favor, the 70,540. But to show that there is a negative balance for that here, I mean, that mattered for the balance of the year.
All right, let's turn then from 2018 to 2020.
Da, pentru 2020.
And for 2020,
Pentru acest
again,
So for this year,
you say for 2020 that your income should include 72,361 Moldovan lei, reflecting savings from 2019, correct?
yes.
Да,
And you
72
similarly,
That is correct, 72,361 from that year, 2019.
and this is based on your claim that you had cash savings at the end of 2019 of that amount.
Да.
Yes.
And then you've also identified some corrections in the amount of expenses for caring for your mother, and for the repair and furnishing of your apartment in Chisinau. Correct?
Да,
So in terms of the outgoing flows, taking care of my mother, I have also indicated which the right version was. I think that before we dive into the comments, I think that it is necessary for me to explain how I arrived at those conclusions, or maybe the Commission doesn't need any clarifications from me. So if you allow me, and if I'm not taking too much of your time, I would like to first address the expenses that I have incurred in relation to my mother. I would like to provide further clarification. In the first round of questions, the Commission somehow agreed that I've spent the 24,000 lei, but it was somewhat skeptical with regards to my brothers having provided financial support, and that those amounts, the 48,000, somehow it seemed impossible to trace back or find on my bank account, because I had claimed that those expenses had been covered by card. So I have initially I do had that opinion, 48,000 in and 48,000 out as in spent. It's only that the Commission is claiming in several places in the report, the Commission is claiming that it had carried out a comparative analysis across all of the income earned by my household, and it looked at in relation to retail expenses identified through different bank transactions and payments made in cash. And then in item 8 of the notification, the Commission had established that the retail expenses covered with a card incurred by the household of the subject have gone beyond the CEP from 2016 onwards, and that the retail expenses reflect that there's a particular way of expenses for lifestyle that are beyond the national statistics reference level. So I would like, in fact, to explain the Commission by means of an example. For instance, 2 weeks ago, a friend of my elder brother brought me 200 euros because he has come to Moldova. So it's a real-life situation and an actual example. Now, this money I spent to go with my mother to the hospital. She needed some medication, and I have bought that from the drugstore. 1,600, and then another medical intervention that she required. So 2,000 lei were paid by card. Now these 2,000 lei, they appear in the accounting, so to speak. It's as an outgoing flow, something that was spent. It's an outgoing flow, something that I paid by card, and you can see that. But the income, even that 100 euros, I left it in my as for myself, because it has been transferred. Oh, you see the spendings that I've made, that's by card, and you can see that expense incurred by card. But what came in as money to me, as income, so to speak, you don't see that, given how I have achieved it. So what is an income? That is an expense. But if it appears that if there is no that is not regarded as an income, then the 48,000 should go away, because otherwise it looks like artificially built expenses. I have had that money from my brothers, and I have confirmed that because they provided statements in full knowledge of the accountability should they provide false information, and there was supporting documentation that was proof of the fact that they had money, they had a salary, they had the possibility to possess, to have such money to transfer to me, to give to me. And this is what I've explained the other time as well, starting with 2018 onwards, and that is still currently the situation. In the decision of the Superior Council of Magistracy, so I am just about to wrap up, the Superior Council of Magistracy has addressed this issue, this matter, and it has communicated as well that if we exclude the 48,000 from income, then we should add to expenses 72,000. I agree with their approach. If you've had a thorough look at the table that I provided yesterday, I'm looking at the bigger amount that is unfavorable for me that the Commission has used in its calculation. So that amount where the retail expenses have been taken as a basis. So for this reason in particular, I hope I managed to bring more clarity to the matter.
Yes, and I think we understand your differences from the Commission in terms of the calculations of inexplicable wealth. And that's the point of my questions. We want to make sure that we've understood what your position is. Let's turn then from 2020 to the last year, 2021. And for 2021, again, you would include in your income $48,000 of support from your brothers.
Ну, позашел Дмитрий.
48,000 lei.
Да, Лавинит.
Right. Starting with 2018 as income, I've been saying that this money should be regarded as income because I've mostly covered my spendings with a card, by card, and my card expenses are due to the fact that until okay, then I will just respond when you ask me specifically.
It seems that the largest other point of difference between you and the Commission is you maintain that your cash savings at the end of 2021 should be zero.
Yes.
I
I insist on that position that I've expressed previously. I have given up the fact that, and I've explained it, but I would do it again. I want to make sure that I am understood. For 2021, the negative balance is artificially there because it includes savings that I did not have. I have already explained the Commission in the first round of questions. Was going to have to understand, first of all, what savings I had, what cash I had. So it was my understanding that I had to calculate on the basis of what I had, how much I spent, and how much was left over. And that's what I did. Out of my income that I have reported, I mean the salary, I have subtracted from there the CEP, and I have subtracted the taken loans. So out of the amount of income, I have not used any other numbers. So there were different incomes, much bigger. I mean, the salary of my husband and others, and expenses. There was much more. I mean, retail expenses, and the alimony expenses. So that I did not include in those calculations. So that's how that's why my calculations ended up being that much different as far as savings are concerned. For the savings column, I wanted to go back to that because the commission in the notification, in the hearing notice, the commission has established that I had changed 3 times my mind about the cash savings. And in the beginning, I have made calculations in the way I've just explained, but then I realized that this was resulting in an unjustified negative balance. And then I've adjusted my approach because those calculations were not done correctly. And I maintain this position. Now, what is in my answers was based on the audit report, and as a matter of principle, I agree with it. It's only that the audit was, or let me put it like that, the result of the audit is showing me a negative outgoing balance. But when it comes to the calculations and the methodology that was followed and the documentation on the basis of which the audit did their work, I don't know about that. I'm not a specialist in this field. But the version that was provided by the auditor, as a matter of principle, I don't even know if I agree with it right now. I agree with the result of the report, but I do not agree with what was claimed. And I would like to add that, all right, there's been 3 rounds of questions, and now this is a resumed evaluation. And by no means do I agree with the position of the Commission that, given that initially I provided one type of an answer, it's not like I don't have the right, is it like I don't have the right to provide a more accurate or a corrected version? That's why we have these rounds of questions. It's to give one the possibility to fill some gaps or make corrections where something was mistakenly stated. And in a situation where the Commission has been working with maybe several probabilities and options, I'm not educated in accounting to know. I mean, I don't know how to even express my opposing opinion regarding some calculations where there is a negative balance for the outgoing flows. I don't know what is the right version out of into this moment. I have made some estimations, the ones that I regarded as the accurate ones. And now going back to savings again, I believe that as far as savings are concerned, there should be, even though we apply the methodology of the Commission, that year-end, the plus and the minus, as outgoing and then inflow into the next year as they go in as income. So that should be based on calculations that are correct themselves as a result of an assessment of the outgoing flows and incoming flows. Which is why I have, in fact, put together a new table on inflows, outflows, and also reflecting the cash savings. However, well, you can see it. It's right there in the information that I have shared with the Commission yesterday.
Written statement that you provided us yesterday evening. So, Judge, let me, before I move on, ask if either of the other Commission members have any questions they would like to ask about how your calculations differ from the Commission's calculations.
Just one question. Mrs. Cecan, in the audit report that you filed, there was an issue on the way of calculating the household expenses. The Commission uses the recognized methodology in Moldova, the CEP or the CCP, And you suggested that there should be another methodology, the OECD methodology. Do you stick to that opinion?
Esteemed Commission members, I received the Commission's answer regarding my position about this report and the fact that it was harshly criticized by the Commission and in a way rejected. I don't know the methodology applied by the Commission, and I don't know what method the expert applied because I am not an expert in this field. And having seen that the Commission worked with several options or possibilities, I tried to obtain at least an opinion or a point of view of a professional in this field. And she applied those methodologies. For me to tell whether it is correct or not, it's not possible because I don't have knowledge in finance and accounting.
No further questions. Scott, you're muted.
Judge Cecan, while we're on the topic of your auditor's report, let me ask some additional questions. I noticed in your auditor's report that the auditor stated, and this is in a footnote on footnote number 3 on the audit report. Maybe we can show the judge that particular page. The auditor notes at footnote 3 that her calculations reflect cash balances that you provided to the auditor in terms of the amounts. The auditor accepted your statements about the amount of cash savings that you had from prior periods. Do you see that?
So I provided the auditor with the memory stick that I received from the Vetting Commission. So when I concluded the contract with that person, I informed her the savings are not written correctly in the report, and that's what I stated my disagreement with before the SCM. So I informed the auditor about that fact and about other facts that I disagreed with in the report. And she applied in her calculation what she deemed necessary. As a matter of principle, she did not change anything in the report. She just applied a different calculation methodology. She wanted, by means of her report, to make some clarity about the calculation methodology related to the commissions, the one that the commission applied. And generally, I did not want to touch that report now because the commission criticized it and in a way rejected it. I asked for a financial and accounting expert review that would shed some light on this because ultimately this evaluation report is the only one of a professional, the auditor's report. The commission rejected it and I can't know whether that report was objective or not. But I disagree with the Commission's findings that since I contracted the auditor and paid since I contracted the auditor and paid for that, it doesn't mean that it was drafted in my favor. and that it can't be called independent. I believe that regardless of
Pardon me, let me restate my question because I think you misunderstood.
Eu am înțeles ce ați
I understood what you asked, but it followed that
Eu am răspuns.
I answered. I said that she denied, sorry, not denied, she did not take for granted that I denied those savings. She relied on the information that I provided her on that memory stick and the evaluation report. It wasn't about savings that I claimed to have had.
Și dacă era acceptat,
And if it was accepted to answer questions about the report, she would have confirmed that thing today.
Your auditor in her report, in reviewing the expenses, she also included figures that were based on bank records, correct?
deci eu nu știu.
I don't know what data was used in drafting the auditor's report. And for today's hearing, I did not focus on discussing the audit report once the Commission criticized and rejected it. I made my own independent calculations that I described in the information that I submitted yesterday.
Those are the points that we've discussed earlier in the hearing, correct?
Da, dar
Yes, but I believe that since the report was rejected and we can't check whether it was drafted in an objective manner or not, since you rejected the request to designate an expert review, it means that we should we shouldn't be selecting or picking data from there that would disadvantage me. At least that's what I believe.
Let me ask if Commission members have any additional questions they would like to ask at this time.
No, thank you.
All right, it appearing that Commission members have no additional questions. Judge Cecan, is there anything else you would like to tell us before we conclude the hearing?
I don't know. The Commission did not ask me about one matter that it rejected in the hearing notice. That is the amount of money that my husband, Iurie Gațcan, had as savings. And
Our position is that he had 105,000 over lay in savings. We understand.
Da, dar mă gândeam că o să
I was thinking you were going to ask me about it, and I was going to express my opinion about that. I don't want to believe that the Commission is biased right now when it's auditing me, hearing me, sorry.
Well, Judge, if you have any information in that regard, we want to hear it. If you have any additional information regarding the savings that you say your husband had accumulated,
eu doar vreau să
I just want to tell the Commission that I did not claim that at the beginning of, well, during the initial evaluation. It was an omission. Later on, when we were both analyzing the report, he reminded me, you remember we paid a big amount out of a debt towards that individual in the amount of 155,000, and I recall that most expenses, or most debts we paid out of the money that he had. I saw how the commission mentioned that he could not have saved, gathered that amount of money, and we looked into his asset declaration. Actually, for the last few years, he had the possibility to gather, to save at least 30,000 lei per year, because his expenses were to support himself and to pay the loan of 2,600 lei per month, because at that time he was living alone, and for the in terms of child support, the parents, the children's grandparents actually, were very active. And this is confirmed by his statements as well, his statement on own accountability. Otherwise, the situation would have been different.
Your statements and the information that you've otherwise provided on that issue. Anything else before we conclude the hearing?
Da, doresc.
Yes, I would like to kindly draw your attention to what I was saying about savings, because indeed I calculated them wrongly. Secondly, I would like to say that the income of the financial support provided by my brothers was real, and it is reflected in my outgoing cash flows in card payments. So it's up to the Commission to decide either to add them both into incoming flows and outgoing flows, or just decrease the outgoing flows that amount for 40-something thousand and my 24,000 per year. That's it.
Judge, that then brings us to the end of today's hearing. Thank you for your submissions and your answers to the Commission's questions. After the hearing, the Commission will approve an evaluation report stating its conclusion whether the subject meets the criteria for ethical and financial integrity under law number 252. The Commission will strive to complete and prove its evaluation report and announce its conclusion as soon as possible. This hearing is now closed. Good day to everyone. So, Bruno.